can't stop talking about it. Like you, we wondered what happened. Last Sunday, Los Angeles reporter Serene Branson was giving a live post-Grammys report when she suddenly became incoherent and had trouble speaking. Take a look.
Well, a very, very heavy rotation tonight. We had a very Darrison, but let's go ahead, Terrace and look for the bit.
The disturbing video soon went viral and had many people speculating that she'd suffered a mild stroke. We're happy to see Serene Branson is fine and with us here in the studio. Serene, it's great to see you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning,
What was the diagnosis?
Essentially, my doctors have said this was migraine aura, a complex migraine. Apparently, they're very rare, but people do suffer from them, and the characteristics mimic a stroke, essentially. The numbness in the hand, the numbness in the cheek that I suffered, the pounding headache, the blurry vision, all before that live shot that you saw.
Take me back. This was for the 11 o'clock news. It was coming on late that night because of the Grammys. You're preparing for the live shot. You're memorizing what you're going to say. Were you beginning to feel anything unusual at that point?
I had a 5 o'clock live shot, a 6 o'clock live shot, went off without a hitch, writing a story for the broadcast later. I was working on a fashion piece around 10 o'clock. I started to look at my notes, and I couldn't focus on the letters on the page. And my vision was getting very blurry. I was getting kind of a blur in the middle of my vision.
Were you saying I'm having a headache? Was that the thought?
Yes. I thought, you've worked a long day. It's the Grammys. You've been here for 12 hours. You're just a little tired.
But you got a 10-second intro. You can wing it, no problem.
Exactly. You've got a headache. You power through it.
Tell me what's happening when we're watching what's happening from our end. What's going through your mind as those words aren't coming out? The ones that are up here aren't coming out of here.
As soon as the anchor tossed to me and I opened my mouth, I knew something was terribly wrong. I knew what I wanted to say. I wanted to say Lady Antebellum had swept the Grammys, and the words were just not there. And it was almost as if I described it to my mother. Felt like I was watching myself in a movie, going, this is not right. Something is going wrong.
But are you panicking at this point?
Starting to panic a little bit. And that probably exacerbated the problem, because I did start to panic because I knew the words were not coming.
Mercifully, they throw to the tape. What happens now behind the scenes?
Yeah, immediately after that live shot, I dropped the microphone, started to collapse. My field producer and 3 photographers rushed around me, sat me down, gave me some water. My right cheek went numb. My right hand goes numb. They said paramedics are on the way.
You're not thinking stroke at this point? Because a lot of people, they hear this and she's having a stroke.
At this point, I was still in a haze. I didn't really understand what was going on. I was confused. I was embarrassed. I was scared. But I wasn't thinking stroke at that point yet.
So then you went and had a series. I understand you were there all day at the hospital getting a series of tests, and they came up with this migraine.
I saw some of the best neurologists, cardiologists, migraine specialists in the world, but the neurologist did an MRI, an MRA. They did a bubble test to make sure I don't have a hole in my heart. They determined it was complex migraine or migraine aura.
Could this happen again?
It could. My doctor said that the chances are not likely that this could be a recurring problem. He said you could have 3 or 4 in your lifetime. My mother had 3 or 4 in her lifetime, interestingly, and
the same thing.
Same thing.
Really? But
it is hereditary.
You never had this conversation, and
No.
there was no connection you made?
No. I was a young child, so obviously I didn't remember.
Sure.
The only difference was hers was not on live television.
Listen, you get this business, and you understand how tape goes on and on and on, and we have all seen that tape a million times now. When did you first see it?
Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was so concerned about getting my test done, figuring out what was going on with my health. I purposely avoided the internet. For a self-proclaimed news junkie, it was very strange. I didn't watch television. I didn't listen to the radio. I wasn't even checking my BlackBerry. And I just wanted to figure out what was going on. Wednesday, when I got the diagnosis that they were pretty confident this is what it was, I finally went into my station, went back to work, not on the air yet, but watched the tape. I decided it was time.
Now, I know you've been blown away at the reaction you've had to this. Not only those of us who looked at it and were shocked and horrified, but people have really reached out to you, haven't they?
The support has been overwhelming from viewers.